Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Jaquan Grant, and this is your music consultant. Lately, we've been hearing that a lot of artists been selling their music catalogs. So you have artists like Justin Bieber, who's nearing a deal to sell his catalog for 200 million. Justin Timberlake has sold his catalog for 100 million. So you have artists like Future, who's selling his catalog for 10 million. And you have artists like Bruce Springsteen, who's selling his catalog to Sony for 500 million. Now, those are just a few. There are many artists, young and old, who are selling their catalog or in the process of selling their catalog. So what does this actually mean, right? Like, why would an artist want to sell their entire catalog? I was also lost. Like, me being an artist myself, why would you want to do so? And by doing my research, I realized some of these artists are doing it because of, lack of resources, lack of funds. So first, let's talk about why would an artist want to sell their catalog? Because of being an artist myself, I was lost, right? Why would you want to sell your catalog? This is your art. But just doing more research and figuring out why a lot of artists was doing it, some of them would make sense, especially for the legacy artists. So for some of those older artists, it seems like they're kind of just focusing on the future, right? They're planning for the future. They're planning to make sure that they have, some funds and stuff lined up, especially since touring has dried up during the pandemic and a lot of the streaming services have dissolved their income. One of the reasons why a lot of the younger artists are saying that they're selling their catalogs is because of streaming not paying them any money. So one artist said that if we can get paid for records and play live, we will not be doing this. None of us. I'm telling you the truth. Some of the younger artists are saying that they feel like it's important for them now to go ahead and sell their catalogs and not have their family have to try to manage their catalog because it can be very complicated. So instead of having to manage it, they just feel like it just now they can just go sell their catalog, get a large sum of money that can help their family now instead of them having to manage it on the back end. So for the older artists, they're planning for their future. They're thinking now is the best time for them to plan for their future, their estate. And it's acting as a retirement fund for them, so they feel like it's best for them to go ahead and sell their catalogs. Another main reason why a lot of artists are selling their catalogs is the tax benefits. For some people, the tax benefits are the primary reason. So in 2006, the Bush administration signed a law which allowed musicians to use catalog sales as capital gains rather than income, which is taxed higher. So if the Biden administration changes capital gain taxes for sales over $1 million, this would raise the rate from 20% to 37%. A one-time payment on the sales would have musicians a lot of money over time. Even Bob Dylan, right? So Bob Dylan came and basically said it's a great time to sell, especially last year when capital gains taxes were going up under the Biden administration. Everyone was really trying to sell before December 31st, so it wouldn't be taxed as high. He also went in to say if artists were going to sell their music, right now is the great time because these prices will not be here forever. So as we can see, a lot of the younger artists have decided to sell their catalogs because they feel like they're not making that much money, right? So streaming is not giving them any money. Of course, when the pandemic, touring was down, and they also feel like it's important for them to go ahead and sell now because you know how complicated when you start talking about the copyrights, because we didn't even get into what they're actually selling. So let's talk about what they're selling. So first it has to be written, then it has to be recorded. So these steps have their own copyright. So you have the composition, the music and the lyrics, and the master, the recording can be owned by different entities and also can create different revenue streams, right? So some of these artists are selling their masters, they're not selling their publishing. Some of them are selling both. But once again, some of them are not, they're selling percentages of the master. So some of them are selling 50%. So someone like Bob Dylan just sold a portion of his catalog to Universal Music Group, right, for $300 million. But he just sold a portion of it. He didn't sell his entire music catalog. Who's buying these catalogs? So let's talk about who's buying these catalogs. So as stated before, you have other record labels like Sony, who bought Bruce Springsteen's catalog. You have record labels like Universal, who's purchased some catalogs. So not only do you have record labels that are purchasing these catalogs, you also have some investment firms. So you have investment firms like Influence Media Partners, Hipgnosis Song Capital from the UK. So there are many other entities that are out there that are investment firms that are actually purchasing these catalogs. So not just record labels. So you have multiple sides that are at their hands in play. How can something like this benefit artists? I mean, the biggest thing we talk about is just the cash incentive that I'm seeing, So someone like Hipgnosis, a company that has purchased several catalogs, pays artists on the average $14.76 time the historical annual income. This means an average of 14.76 years of royalties. This may be higher or lower. Why are these tech investment companies purchasing these catalogs? The reason why a lot of these investors are purchasing these catalogs is because it's a low investment risk, right? They're able to get a great return with a low risk. Why not do it? Especially if you have the funds to do so. So this may work for you somewhere down the line. I know for myself, I would definitely consider selling my catalog as I get deeper and deeper into my career, especially when my catalog itself begin to generate a lot of income. So I feel like when you get to a specific stage, it can benefit you. Definitely do your research and definitely make sure you take your time. I think it could be very beneficial, especially if you have a very, very deep catalog. So look at someone like Future, who's selling his catalog from 2006 to 2020, but then he's able to still release music, new music. He just released Wait For You right last year, which is a major record. If you decide to sell your catalog or portions of your catalog, you still can release records in the future. And I feel like it could definitely benefit you. So I would definitely consider that once my catalog get deep. But like I said, do your research. Definitely do your research. Hit me up if you have any questions. I am the music consultant. You guys have a great one.